Alright, sorry about the generator noise in the background. This is day 3 of no power. Our generator's working excellent, our whole home generator, so it's really working great. And my wife is loving it. It's wonderful. Still early in the morning here, day 3, drinking my tea. This is a teacup I made, another one, different one, for a steampunk show I did. I talked about a Whoville show last time, Dr. Seuss. This particular one was part of a steampunk. I made my own glaze, brass looking. Oh, and it's so early still. I get in a habit of doing these early in the morning. I don't know why. One main thing, but a couple of little things I'll talk about, or well, at least one. The other day when that storm came through, Tropical Storm Delta, from Hurricane Delta when it hit, I actually made a video standing outside in the back talking about it. It's like, this didn't seem like a normal event happening around the storm, right around our house. It seemed more than just a storm. It could have been, for my crazy little world side, something else involved with that. And that's fine, you know, I deal with whatever happens, that's fine. So I did kind of do a little strange happening pushback on it around the house, and I'm really glad I did. There's nobody that can verify this, so you might just think I'm making it up in line, and that's okay too. But I did make a video of it. I didn't include it in that other one that I talked about, Hurricane Delta after or something like that. I did not include it in there because I didn't want strange happening over in the general stuff. But I did record it out in the back and deleted it. And I did push back on it to try to protect us a little bit during that storm, because it was different. Turns out it really was kind of different. The main damage was right here around our neighborhood, around our house. We finally found a tree cutter. That tree started leaning toward our house a little bit. This big 60-foot oak tree, big, right near the house, going to cut right through the middle of our house. It started leaning, and you can see where the ground was liquefying as it rocked and that kind of thing, tearing up our concrete. But it didn't fall. And it got lucky, found a tree cutter on Sunday that decided just to drive by. You know, we called several people and found one that would drive by and just kind of look at it. He looked at it from the street, wouldn't even pull in our driveway. And then when he looked at the root system and the tree, he freaked out. He rescheduled all of his people, and let me tell you, these people are busy right now tree cutting with 2 hurricanes within 43 days. These people are busy, and he rescheduled every person he had, and it's coming out in about 1 hour. So he came out yesterday, probably about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, no, about 6 p.m. and rescheduled everybody. And he said, I will be here at 8 o'clock in the morning with my crew and get this tree down, because he goes, it's much worse than you think. So it's like, okay, good with us. I'm really glad. It made me feel better about that. But I did push back on it, and he was asking, did y'all have a tornado in your area? And I said, no, not that we know of, but there are trees down all over the roads, all over the place, where it's not so much in the rest of the town. But here, it was even worse than the regular full-size Hurricane 1 that came through, Laura. This was just a tropical storm, but the damage was even worse here in this neighborhood. So it's kind of odd and different, and it felt different, honestly. And I did record something, I just deleted it. Now, on to the main other thing. A couple of days ago, I started getting a new impression. Sitting there, we were just sitting there doing nothing. We still didn't have power a couple of days ago, but the power went out the first day. And started getting this impression, sitting there at night. It may have been the day before we lost power, but about 2 or 3 days ago. And I getting this impression. When I say I get these impressions, it's not like voices in my head, people telling me things to do. It's not like that. Have you ever been trying to find a solution to a problem, and it almost fogs your brain up? You're really concentrating, really trying to figure this. All of a sudden, it comes to you, and you get the solution to that problem, and it's clear, and it's just like, there it is, and everything seems to open up and clear. That's kind of what it's like when I say get these impressions. It's like, it feels like I'm trying to find a solution to a problem, and I can't find it, even though I don't know that I have a problem or anything. But when this source kind of stuff opens up, it's like that. It clears up, and it's like, there it is. There's the solution to my problem, and I didn't even know I had a problem. You know, also it's just so clear and understanding, and just okay, that kind of thing. So that's what it feels like. But that happened again a couple of days ago. And I told my wife, I said, I just got this weird impression. She's sitting next to me in the recliner. I said, I got this. It's the weirdest thing, Tara. My wife's name is Tara. I was like, this is the weirdest thing. I just got this big impression thing going on in my head. This kind of opened up thing. And I said, what it was saying, getting this impression, this images and stuff, like, the answer I'm looking for is in one of your books. I'm like, what? And I told my wife that. The answer I'm looking for is in one of my books. I didn't know I had a question. So what kind of answer? I had no idea what answer I'm supposed to be looking for, and I had no idea which book. It's like, which book do I go to answer some question that I don't even, get an answer for a question I don't even know what the question is. So I don't have a question. I have no idea what it's talking about. So I started for the next day, that evening I pulled a book off the bookcase or went and found a book and just kind of flipped through it. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for. And then the next day, pulled a couple more books off the bookcase. It's like, and I'm a fan of books. I've gotten rid of so many books over my life, and I gave tons to my brother-in-law. We have given so many away, like when we're selling furniture for the bookcase. All the books went with the bookcase free. It's just take all the books with it, please. We're just giving away books right and left. But I used to be a huge book fan. Loved having a library of books. You see some of these libraries, in big houses. It's like, oh, I'd love to have a library like that. These old movies, giant libraries with the world and ladder. I'm that kind of fan of books. So I love books. But, so it's like, okay, I've gotten rid of a lot of books. I don't know if it's something I got rid of, but I started flipping through books. And finally, day before yesterday, I got to this book. And literally, I was sitting in the recliner, so I pulled it off the bookcase and just went like this, and it popped open. It just popped open. I mean, I didn't try to flip it open or anything. It just opened on its own almost. And I turned to my wife and I'm like, did you see that? Did you see that? Because it did it by itself practically. And what it opened to was something about Sophia, someone named Sophia. And this is the book that I'm talking about. Is that right side up? Upside down? I can't tell on the phone. I'm trying to look at it. The Gnostic Bible. This is what I've had on the bookshelf for a while. I really need to read all of this. But it opened to a part, and I started reading it about Sophia. And I was like, really? Just really? What? Apparently, Sophia is sort of, there's what most people in the normal organized religion call God. This would be kind of one of her children. So the God that people pray to here is like here. Sophia is above them, and above them, her, and way on up there is the true one source that you can't even comprehend. Nobody can comprehend. It's just incomprehensible, and I can't hardly even comprehend Sophia. So it's just like, okay. Apparently what she is kind of a living aspect of wisdom. She is wisdom incarnate kind of thing. So Sophia is way on up there. And it's the feminine divine. It's the feminine part of the soul. So Sophia is the feminine part of the soul. And she is wisdom and also knowledge. Apparently, I don't know enough to actually be an authority on this kind of thing, so people don't take me literally on everything. I'm trying to, what I read just now. I also looked on the internet just a bit, so if you want to know about Sophia, look, do an internet search for Sophia Gnostic or Sophia Earth, and I think it will pull up stuff on her. So I tried doing that, and I read some. Actually, I got more information off the internet than I did from that little passage because some of it's kind of confusing. Apparently, these writings, a lot of them come from what was found in the Nag Hammadi scrolls, some old scrolls, gospels, like the Gospel of Mary and stuff like that. Old original scrolls that were found, and that's where all these come from that were not included in the current Bible. So these were some original stuff. I find that fascinating. So Sophia is wisdom and knowledge, and she's able to gift understanding, something like that. Give the gift of understanding. I was like, oh, how weird is that? Because in several of my videos in the past, even in the main description of Strange Happening, I said, if something wants to materialize what I need, even that one video, I said, if something wants to materialize, what I need is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I believe I put it in that order. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Those three. And that's specifically those three associated with Sophia. And I'm like, how odd is that? Where am I going on this path? I think it's a very, very good path. It's not evil or anything like that. I think it's a really, really good path. Because what it sounds like is this Sophia thing fell into a lower realm from a higher realm, created the universe, created Earth, reformed Earth. So Sophia is the life force of the Earth. The thing that makes Earth alive, the life force, is part of Sophia. The other part managed to ascend back to the higher realm that she was at, and then she cares so much about people that got created kind of almost by accident. Would care so much for them that she broke off a piece of her and came here as life. And well, what she put in people was consciousness, the ability for people to really think, look beyond the darkness that is here. And I'm like, well, some of this is sounding really eerily similar to the Haoka, the truth tellers, and the starseed stuff. The starseed goes along with it a lot because her big hope for humanity is that they wake up enough to recognize her and ascend to a higher plane of existence. I'm like, well, that's pretty much exactly what the starseed stuff. They're trying to help elevate the entire planet, move it to a higher dimension, but the life force of the planet in the old Gnostic world is called Sophia. And she's the life force. I'm like, how odd is that? Because even in Depression number 1, I talked about when something else came into me, something changed, that big change in reality started responding. The earth, reality, everything started responding. It became alive to me. Every rock, dirt, tree, plant, everything, air became alive. And I started talking to it. I talked to a rock I mentioned in the Haoka empath one. I talked to a blade of grass because it's got so much life and energy. And I mentioned that in the videos. Apparently, that's Sophia. How funny is that? So that's apparently who I've been talking to. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just going with it. This is intuition, people. So I found that interesting. I have a lot more still to learn. And Sophia has a thing about the heart. It's all about heart with Sophia, linking the lower realms and the higher realms with the heart as a bridge. I'm like, oh, how weird was that? On the Thank You, Louisa, that's specifically what I talk about, is linking the lower and the upper chakras. Specifically talked about that. And maybe, and I talked about in that video, Thank You, Louisa, is for my Strange Happening number 1, this lower realm that I saw, the blank pages, and then the perfection that's to be, what we're supposed to be, maybe that could be linked by the heart. And this sounds like all of Sophia. How very interesting. I have a lot more to learn.